everyone, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and today is going to be all about Pagani. We're still on the Countach tour celebrating 50 years of Countach, but I've come down to Pagani because, well, first of all, I'm going to do a test drive of the Utopia, which I've not driven before. Last time here we just walked around it. This time we're actually going to go out in it. And obviously I've brought the Countach down because Horacio Pagani is about to appear, and I'm going to just talk to him about his time at Lamborghini and some of the things they did. He's obviously well known for doing the anniversary redesign. But my car is 1987, and the engine cover, if you've been watching these videos, is of carbon fibre. And I'm intrigued if Horacio Pagani had a part to play in that. His involvement with carbon fibre is infamous, and he was trying to introduce that at Lamborghini, and they did that Countach Evolution, which was all carbon fibre. They did a crash test on it, so it no longer exists. So he was very active at Lamborghini in mid-80s. But did he actually build the engine cover? How was that put on a production car? I believe it's the first use of carbon fibre on a production Lamborghini. I don't know, but he's going to tell us, and he's going to appear any moment now. So, was this the first example of carbon fibre on a Lamborghini?
Allora, questo è stato il primo esempio di materiali compositi, ovvero utilizzando i preimpregnati. Non avevamo l'autoclave ai tempi, quindi veniva cotto in un forno, però sottovuoto. Cioè il processo era preimpregnato in resine epossidiche, ma era un vetro, non era carbonio, ok? È un materiale compositi comunque, che sia vetro o carbonio poco cambiava, se non la leggerezza e la robustezza si era in carbonio, ma ai tempi nessuno ci credeva in questo. Se io dicevo di farlo in carbonio mi dicevano no, sei matto, costa troppo. E loro la critica che facevano sempre ai materiali compositi era che costavano troppo. Allora ho dovuto trovare un'alternativa con un tipo di vetro, che fiberglass aeronautico, è un'ottima qualità, molto bello, però il carbonio non me lo lasciavano usare.
This is not carbon fibre? No. What is it?
È un vetro, anziché essere una fibra di carbon fiber, è una fibra di vetro. Ma di ottima qualità, è buonissima.
Oh, is it in glass? Different?
Not in carbon.
Not carbon?
No.
I'm gutted. I thought that always thought it was carbon.
Aveva anche dei rinforzi in Kevlar, che era un ottimo materiale.
Ah, it is in Kevlar. So, right. But this isn't...
Fiberglass and Kevlar.
Fiberglass and Kevlar. Okay.
Yes.
But very light.
Sì, assolutamente.
Because there was no autoclave at Lamborghini, so
no,
that's...
not autoclave.
So,
ai tempi non c'era l'autoclave.
Okay. But you designed it. Horacio designed this.
Assolutamente sì.
Yeah. Is that correct?
Designed and made.
And designed and made.
Yeah.
And
A me con le mie mani.
really, you?
Yes.
Wow.
L'alluminio, tutto. Dopo le diciamo a Gigi che tiri fuori le foto di questo pezzo che le vediamo.
We can share with you the historical pictures of
Wow.
this project.
And the carbon fibre Countach, the Evolution. So that was you did that. And that was carbon fibre, or was that Kevlar like this?
Quello lì era carbon fiber. Carbon fiber e Kevlar.
And you use an autoclave on the...
Non autoclave.
No autoclave.
Non aveva perché? Perché la Countach Evoluzione è stato il primo progetto della Lamborghini, che era un progetto fino a se stesso. Quindi lì la macchina è stata fatta utilizzando il carbonio, utilizzando il Kevlar, però sempre sottovuoto, perché non avevamo l'autoclave. L'autoclave l'ho comprata io nel 1987-88, quindi si faceva con quello che si poteva.
Okay, so this was all predates autoclave carbon at Lamborghini. That's what I needed to know.
Invece la Diablo sì, l'abbiamo fatta tutta in autoclave.
Yes.
Invece la Countach Anniversary ancora solo sottovuoto, in un forno.
And the 25th anniversary it was always under vacuum.
Oh, that was different to this.
No, simile. Brancardi,
Right.
cofani, paraurto, c'è tanti pezzi fatti.
On the anniversary like this, the bumpers.
Yes, the same pump.
Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't know that. Good. Horacio, thank you for that information.
c'era la versione Europa, che è questa con il carburatore, e poi c'era la versione America a iniezione, dove c'erano i due gruppi qui sopra,
Yeah.
e il cofano aveva come due bugne qua e la parte centrale era liscia, proseguiva quel piano lì.
He's saying that the injection, the American version
Yes.
with fuel injection, had
It's
its difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Good. Horacio, thank you for that. Always good to
Yeah.
see you. Well, I hope you enjoyed that chat with Horacio Pagani about the early days of Lamborghini. I'm a bit shocked that, having thought it was carbon fibre, that engine lid, and then discovering it's Kevlar. But back then that was actually the link with F1, and they marketed it as with F1. But let's turn to the main event. This car is actually the launch version. When they did the world reveal in Milan, this was the car they used. Things of note when you just look at the outside, well, 22-inch wheels now, Pirelli 325/30. They've got this new technology now with Pirelli. There is a sensor in there that will talk to the ABS, it will talk to the traction controls, literally a chip in there that passes information to the ECU running the car. Very clever tech. Looks as though we're going to be fighting the weather now. I'm starting to get rained on, which is not what I want with this crazy car. 21-inch wheels at the front and lots of aero to drag the heat out of this wheel. I've also been around Modena Design. This is now part of the Pagani group, this company that does all this machining. It's a signature now of Pagani. It's just how they mill out of solid aluminium all the pieces on this car. I'm looking at headlights, the steering wheel, everything you look at, even the badging is milled out of a solid piece of aluminium, a Horacio Pagani signature. That sort of details. Around the back we've got these lights, how they're enclosed, the Pagani. It's the detailing. Once you start looking deeper into Pagani, I think it's its signature. Then this car has the ceramic coated exhaust, which is very visual. One detail I love, if I've got the key here, which is basically a car, and I'm going to press unlock, watch those mirrors, what they do, and they furl out, and then you're let free to have a look inside. It's raining quite bad here, so I'm going to step in, and let's take it away from here, and let's just see how it drives. Special car, this, when you get in. And just see all this. You've got this crazy key, as you can see here. That has a little slot of its own that's there. Then manual, this car, 7-speed manual, and start. I'm going to start it. See if, there you go. No missing when this starts up. And the thing you notice are all the dials. They all start up. Yeah, 57,000 kilometres this car. It's got tyre pressures there, and I can see on the mode it starts up in what is termed a comfort mode. And having just been out in the car, I have to say it really is a comfort mode. It's a big surprise. Lightweight clutch as well. Having driven here in a Countach, it's very nice to be in this. It feels much easier to manage. But I'm just overwhelmed with the look. I'm just seeing if I have the right information that I want in front of me. Yeah, 370 km/h speedo, and then yeah, revs. You can almost not see where the red line is. Just 6,500 RPM, I think. Here I've got turbo pressure, then oil temperature, and water temperature on there, and I have lift as well, which you can just hear working now, because I have a little ridge to go over here, and then we can get on our way. There's a sound of Pagani. There's a lot to take in when you get in here. It's sort of alien to your normal car, but initially the things I'm picking up on: extraordinarily compliant ride, easy light weighting on gear change, on clutch, throttle, just beautifully metered, and that sense that you're in a very special car. Other things you pick up, well, the glass area. I can adjust the height of the seat here. I sort of want to be a bit lower than I actually am. I look at the scuttle, I feel as though I'm sitting up high, and the rear view mirror has this little slit to look out of. You're very much using your wing mirrors to use it rather than this. There's not a lot of visibility. It's a bit like the Countach. The gearbox as well, if you look here, it's a dog leg first, which is a surprise. I thought it's going to be a conventional 6-speed, but no, it's a dog leg first, and then a 7-speed gearbox. And it does self-blip the throttle as well as you go through the gears. And it's a tight gate. Simone said, whatever you do, don't look at the gate, just change gear normally and you'll be fine. But it does take a little bit of getting used to the gearbox. Say the auto blip there, if I change it to second, there you go. That's not me doing it, that's the car doing it. But these I love. These I remember from Zonda. Position, it's never been beaten, one of these type of air outlets for me. Easy layout there. Come down here and then it gets just a bit trickier. So this is back, this is their way of changing what you want to do. So I've got mirror adjustment and then I use this. Home screen, volume for the radio, that sort of thing. Oh, I've got exhaust if I want to put the exhaust on. Quieten the exhaust, I'll do that. It starts off by the sound of things in noisy mode. Slightly tedious, we've got a giant lorry and the road's just got interesting. And the Laura Sod said, there's a great big truck in the way. But we've got 860 odd horsepower, so of driver modes. I've actually got it in comfort at the moment, and it really does say what it means. I'm very surprised. I'm going to move it up one. Right, I've got it in sport now. Oh, dear. One thing that surprised me when I was talking to the engineers is the weight of this car in full fluids like now. 1430 kilos, and that is actually the same weight as a Zonda S, which I was amazed at. But the thing about the Zonda S, the AMG engine, that generation of V12 normally aspirated, the engine was quite heavy. This turbocharged or aluminium unit actually saves weight. So although the car's bigger, the weight is identical to a Zonda S. I'm getting distracted because it's quite something, this car. Italy's tarmac does not get any better. Their roads are a challenge. There's grunt there, God, what happened road? That's 2,500 RPM, 1,100 Newton meters in this car. And you can just ride that torque. Sounds as though you're doing like 8,000 RPM, but you're not. Maximum power is at 6,000 RPM, and the red line's at 6.5, but you never guess it from the soundtrack. Sounds way higher. Oh, punch! Wow. Another thing about this engine, this is its only application. There is no longer a V12 Mercedes, so AMG are actually making this purely for Pagani, and it's known as the AMG Pagani engine internally, and mighty impressive that the dedication and the amount of effort AMG put in to deliver this power unit, and it passes all regs so they can sell it worldwide, this engine, and that's quite an achievement as well. Everything is quite lightweight. the controls are all quite light and easy, apart from the gearbox. There is a bit of notchiness to the gearbox. You're not as confident as throwing it around as you want to be. That was the same with the Zonda in actual fact, but I think I can sort of understand it, because you need a pretty big mechanical gearbox to control this amount of power and torque. Therefore you're swapping quite heavy cogs, so I would expect a heavier sort of gear change just because of that. The synchro has to be that much heavier. But that engine is just always there to deliver a proper load of grunt. And I know it's turbocharged, but the turbo lag is just minimal. There's a sort of sound, it's almost the sound of the turbo is what gives it away, rather than the lag as I touch the throttle and just light it up. Yeah, that gives you a little taste of what it's like to start poking a Utopia and just enjoying that crescendo of power and torque this twin turbo AMG unit delivers. Turn this engine off, and when I open the door, have a listen to this. That's Horacio's little touch as you turn the car off. You get that symphony music just play as you open the door. This takes me back to my Zonda. And there it is, yes, V12 AMG, with Pagani written on it, but the AMG emblem there. Set back, there's the gearbox, there's the rods going down to it down there. You can see this glorious exhaust going out, and this one ceramic coated. You can see suspension upright here, you can see the remote reservoirs, there's adjustment on it, however you want to be set up. The top wishbone acting against the damper and springs there. Look at the finish though on here. This is again a Pagani signature, how they finished all the car in here. But as I say, a lighter unit expect, and look at those storage bins, they're still there just like they were on the Zonda. They've just actually announced the Roadster version, and that is, this panel is then removable on it. It's not like Zonda that had that canvas top, and this one is this panel that comes out. It's still got glass in, and then there is also a temporary roof that they have here. So you perhaps leave that at home, but you want a temporary roof. Well, behind there in the storage is a canvas roof that you can then put on in its place. So just look at those lights. You see the heat sink at the back of the rear lights there, all those fins, like an air-cooled motorbike or something. This is very typical of Pagani, is sort of how they do the chrome aluminium, the frame that holds the engine here. So the carbon tub finishes on the bulkhead, and then this is what all the suspension is mounted onto, and the gearbox sitting down there. Big change with Zonda as well is to remember they're all dry sump now, these twin turbo V12 AMG engines, and I'm seeing here this is engine oil here, remote reservoir, and that means the engine is that much lower. And that's just something I noticed from driving them. There is a more of a balance. I always found the Zonda, the engine sort of dominated the weight. It had more weight on the rear, it understeer, and then quite reactive and snap oversteer was a thing in my experience. And with Wayra, and I feel with this, there's a confidence it gives you. It's more balance and more easier to control the outer limits. I love the theatre when you start this car up. There we go, they all do a little dance. I can see the cogs moving. The roads around here are unbelievable. They typical Italian road, surface, nightmare in places, but that's what they've always been like. And this is the sort of roads that test drivers around here use. And I think, bad as they are, it gives us a very usable car. It's why the ride is as it is in this car. It is compliant, it can deal with this Not once is it grounded out, and yes, I'm being really surprised how it can deal with the bumps and undulations, and they're all over the place with this car. I think it's time to summarise it and go through some likes and dislikes. Well, starting with the dislikes, it's a personal thing, but looking at this test car in the all one colour, I'm not sure if it really shows its lines off to best. Having seen the other cars in build, if I was having one, I'd have to have exposed carbon. Like in here, it hasn't got the exposed carbon on the interior and things. Pagani do it so well, I would want to see that in if I had this car, but it's not on this one. Two, when you first get in this car, you've got to learn it. It is like no other. It's a hypercar, it's full on, and just the visibility. I've got great side mirrors, not so good rear view mirror. The dials aren't incredibly clear. I'm really just looking at the digital speedo, but I do like the way CarPlay comes up on here. I've got a good map in front of me, and you just got to learn your way around the cabin. That's always been the way with Pagani. Other things, gearbox again takes some learning. Being a dogleg 7-speed gearbox is not something I've used before, and it's the third plane is quite a common plane you're in. That's the one we actually have to keep pressure across, and it's quite easy to go first to fourth when you actually want it second. You do get used to it though, the more you use it. I'd also like to be able to sit lower in the car than I am. I want the seat to go slightly lower. I feel slightly high up. Gives a good visibility, but I'm sure it just feels more natural if I was lower in the cabin. Positives? Where do you start? The lightness, the crispness, the lightness of the feel of it. As soon as you get in from the clutch to the brakes, the accelerator, everything feels like really nice weighting. And also, all the way through, you feel the lightness of the car as well. To be 1450 kilos, all fueled up, full of fuel, is actually really light for an 860 horsepower crazy V12 car. And then that engine, it doesn't feel nearly as turbocharged as it did with Wire. I don't know whether it's because it's the manual gearbox, what it is, but it's wonderfully mapped. And talking to the engineers, the other thing I was impressed by was the safety, the level of safety they've done in this car. They've done so many crash tests, and this car has 6 airbag system. You have knee protection airbags, very unusual in this class of car. That is a depth. I know Horacio is always said to me, I want to make the safest hypercar, and I'm always impressed that they go to that sort of lengths. But yeah, just the lightness, just the feel, the athleticism of this thing. Even on a crazy road like this, I feel goaded to push it along, and that's not what I expected at all. So, would I buy one? Well, this is the interesting point with this car. I never, to be perfectly honest, gelled with Wire. There was something I felt slightly remote. I thought it handled better than a Zonda. Zonda always felt sort of engine heavy, and it dominated it. Wire got round that, but I just didn't feel connected. This car, I feel absolutely connected. And it reminds me of Zonda, and I absolutely did not expect to say that before getting in this car. It has that character of Zonda that we love. The sound, the overriding torque, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it much more than I expected. I've almost been dreading coming out to try it because I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but I do like it. I wish it wasn't quite so expensive, but then that's where the market is, and they're all sold out, so they know the business better than me. Yeah, the price of this car, 2.5 million plus taxes. They call it 3 million euros. It's a lot of money, but there seem to be plenty of people willing to pay that for this sort of car. And the other crazy thing, looking at the price of a Zonda today, you can buy 4 of these cars for one Zonda. That's just a mad ratio. The Zonda was good, but was it that good? It's interesting that we've got this car, we've got the Gordon Murray car. There's a new generation of these hypercars coming out with manual gearbox, great engine, great connection to the driver. So there you go. There is my brief test of the Pagani Utopia. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a slight smash and grab sort of review, but I thought it was worth doing just to take the opportunity of trying this car out.